Welcome aboard the Daf Yomi quantum gematriatic interdimensional spaceship, where we traverse the realms of the Talmud, along with time and space. We are in Tractate Zevachim, page 58, at the top of the page, 58a, Nun Ches Amud Aleph, with the Mishnah. Kodesh Chadash, Shishachtem B'Rosh Mizbeach. Rabbi Yossi Omer, כאילו נשחטו בצפון. רבי יוסי ברבי יהודה אומר, מחצי המזבח ולדרום, כדרום מחצי המזבח ולצפון. The Mishnah says it was taught in the previous chapter that offerings of the most sacred order are to be slaughtered in the northern section of the temple courtyard. With regard to offerings of the most sacred order that one slaughtered atop the altar, Rabbi Yossi says their status is as though they were slaughtered in the north, and the offerings are therefore valid. Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, says the status of the area from the halfway point of the altar and to the south is like that of the south, and offerings of the most sacred order slaughtered in that area are therefore disqualified. The status of the area from the halfway point of the altar and to the north is like that of the north. That's the Mishnah, and now we start the Talmud. The Gemara says, Amar Avasi Rabbi Yochanan Omer Haya Rabbi Yossi Kulam Mizbeach V'Savon Koim Mai Ki'ilu Mai Ma'odetim Be'enan Al Yerech. Rav Asi says that Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Yossi used to say, the entire altar stands in the north section of the temple courtyard. The Gemara asks, and what is the meaning of Rabbi Yossi's statement that if one slaughtered offerings of the most sacred order atop the altar, it is as though they were slaughtered in the north, which indicates that they were not actually slaughtered in the north? The Gemara answers, Rabbi Yossi said this, lest you say that we require that the offering be slaughtered on the side of the altar northward, Leviticus 1:11, meaning on the ground beside the altar, and that the requirement is not fulfilled when it is slaughtered on top of the altar. Therefore, Rabbi Yossi teaches us that the offering is still valid. That the offering is valid, the offering is valid. Amar le Rav Zera Lavasi, Elam Yatza, Rav Yossi, Rav Yehuda. Rav Zera says Ravasi, Rabbi Yochanan apparently understands that the reason Rabbi Yossi holds that an offering of the most sacred order slaughtered on the altar is valid is because the entire altar is in the northern section of the temple courtyard. If that is so, shall one also say that according to Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, half of the altar was situated in the north of the temple courtyard and half of it was situated in the south? And if you would say that indeed that is so, wasn't it you who said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, concedes that if one slaughtered offerings of the most sacred order on the ground opposite the northern half of the altar, the offering is disqualified? Accordingly, Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, apparently maintains that the altar is not located in the north at all. Amar le, hachi kam Rabbi Yochanan, shnehem mikra echad darshu, vezavachto alav alotecha, yet shalamechem. Avasi said to Rabbi Zera, Rabbi Yochanan's statement with regard to Rabbi Yossi's opinion is an independent statement rather than an inference from the Mishnah. And with regard to the dispute in the Mishnah, this is what Rabbi Yochanan says. Both of them derived their opinions from one verse. An altar of earth you shall make for me, and you shall slaughter upon it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings. Exodus 20:21. Rabbi Yossi Sofer, Kul Eloila v'Kul Shlamim, Rabbi Yossi v'Rabbi Yehuda Sofer, Ches Eloila v'Ches Shlamim. Rabbi Yossi maintains that the verse teaches that all of it, meaning the entire altar, is fit for slaughtering a burnt offering, and all of it is fit for slaughtering a peace offering. Rabbi Yossi, son of Yehuda, maintains that the verse teaches that half of it is for slaughtering a burnt offering, and half of it is for slaughtering a peace offering. The Gemara explains the reasoning of Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, and as if it enters your mind, that all of it is fit for slaughtering a burnt offering. Now that all of it is fit for slaughtering a burnt offering, which must be slaughtered in the northern section of the temple courtyard, see 53b, is it necessary to teach that it is also fit for slaughtering a peace offering, which may be slaughtered anywhere in the temple courtyard, see 55a. The verse therefore must be understood as teaching that half the altar is fit for slaughtering burnt offerings, and half is fit for slaughtering peace offerings. V'idach, yitzrich sogadai techamina, oy lahudid chik le'makom, aval shlomim delo chik le'makom, ima lo kamash malam. The Gemara asks, and how does the other sage, Rabbi Yossi, respond to this reasoning? The Gemara answers, it was necessary for the verse to mention the peace offerings, otherwise it could enter your mind to say that the verse allows one to slaughter only a burnt offering atop the altar, as the location where it may be slaughtered on the ground is narrow. But with regard to peace offerings, whose location for slaughter on the ground is not narrow, say that no, one may not slaughter them atop the altar. Therefore, the verse teaches us that peace offerings as well may be slaughtered atop the altar. Gufa. Amravasi Rabbi Yochanan Modeh Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. Sheim Shachtan Keneged Bekarka Pesura is Amar Lervacha Midifti Ravina. My Kenegdan Bekarka Ilema Ama Yesoid Ama Soiviv. Agufim Mizbeachu Ve'od. My Kenegdan Bekarka. The Gemara discusses the matter itself. Ravasi says that Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Yossi, son of Yehuda, concedes that if one slaughtered offerings in the most sacred order on the ground opposite the northern half of the altar, the offering is disqualified. Rav Achav Difti said to Ravina, what is the meaning of the phrase on the ground opposite the northern half of the altar? If we say it means that the offering was sacrificed upon the cubit-wide base of the altar, upon the cubit-wide surrounding ledge of the altar, this itself is part of the altar. Furthermore, what is the meaning of the phrase on the ground opposite the northern half of the altar? The base and ledge are not on the ground. V'chi tema diavad michilos bekarka v'shachit behum. V'chi ha'gavne mihavi mizbeach v'yatani mizbeach adama taseli. She'hei mechuvar b'adama v'adama shelo yivnenu lo al gavi michilos v'lo al gavi kipin. And if you would say that the case is where one dug tunnels in the ground beneath the altar and slaughtered the offerings in them, in a case like this, would the altar itself be fit for use so that, according to Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, one may slaughter the offerings in the most sacred order on the altar but not on the ground? But isn't it taught in Braita? The verse states, "On the altar of earth you shall make an altar of earth you shall make for me." Exodus 20:21. The verse indicates that the altar must be attached to the earth, so that one may not build it on top of tunnels nor on top of arches. Lo tzricha dibasre botzre. The Gemara answers, no, it is necessary to have the phrase on the ground opposite the northern half of the altar in order to teach the halacha. In a case where one minimized the dimensions of the altar and slaughtered the offerings on the ground where the northern half of the altar had previously stood. The Gemara returns to discuss Rabbi Yochanan's statement that according to Rabbi Yossi, the entire altar was located in the northern section of the temple courtyard. The Gemara had mentioned that Rabbi Yochanan's statement is an independent statement, not based on the Mishnah. Rabbi Zera said, is it possible that this statement of Rabbi Yochanan is correct and we do not learn it in any Mishnah? Nafak dak veshkach. Rabbi Zera went out, examined the matter, and discovered. Nafak, dak, ve'eshkach. That's an interesting phrase. Nafak, dak, ve'eshkach. He went out, examined, and found and discovered. Nak, nafak, dak, ve'eshkach. What's the gematria of that one? That equals 669. In Apash is 695. Nafak, dak, ve'eshkach. I like that one. Rabbi Zera went out, examined the matter, and discovered a Mishnah that alludes to Rabbi Yochanan's statement. It's nan bero mishum atzeatena yafim l'sadel macha shinashel ketoires keneged keren maravis teroimis mashuch min hakeren kapit tzafon ava amos be'omed chamesh sein gachalim ושבס באוימד שמונה סעים גחלים ששם היו נוישנין שני בזיחי לבונה של לחם הפונים. Rabbi Zera went out, examined the matter, and discovered a Mishnah that alludes to Rabbi Yochanan's statement, as we learned in the Mishnah in Talmud 2:5. The priest selected fine wood of a fig tree from the chamber of firewood with which to lay out a second arrangement of wood on the altar, so that coals from this arrangement could be used for burning the incense. This second arrangement was located opposite the southwest corner of the altar, distant from the corner northward by 4 cubits. They would arrange enough wood which, when burned, would produce approximately 5 se'ah of coals. And on Shabbat, there was enough wood to produce approximately 8 se'ah of coals, as they would place there the 2 bowls of frankincense of the showbread. Umay simana Rabbi Yossi the Tanya. The Gemara asks, and what is the significance of the Mishnah's defining the precise location of the arrangement and the fact that this is where the frankincense is burned? The Gemara embarks on a lengthy discussion to answer this question. The Mishnah is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, who holds that this arrangement of wood and the burning of the frankincense must be in that precise location as it is taught in the Braita.